my brother.
Late January, just before dawn, Lake Okeechobee, a site that can only mean one thing, a brand new season on the FLW Tour.
It's like Christmas to me. I'm so excited.
Oh, I tell you, my heart's beating 90-0 right now.
It's very exciting. This is just awesome.
And as 200 boats slip through the lock, game plans come together.
I'm going to throw a spinnerbait for a couple hours and then go flipping, and that's the way the tournaments are mostly won here, and hopefully that'll be the case this time.
And that's just what Wendlandt does. He has a limit by 10 a.m. and by 10:15 pulls his sixth keeper across a mat in Coot Bay on the way to almost 14 pounds. Energizer Pro JT Kenny is flipping the east wall and misses on some nice fish before boating two keepers, part of his 11-10 limit. In a word, day one's fishing is awesome. 175 pros have limits, and all 200 catch at least one fish.
Now, we heard rumor that early today you had a 10-pounder.
I don't know if it's 10. I'm from Michigan. 5-pounder's big there.
Call it 9-8, Chad, and almost the Snickers big bass of the day. That honor goes to California's Steve Tosh with 9-11 in his first FLW event. But the catch of the day belongs to veteran Evinrude pro Larry Nixon, who used to say he never fished well on Okeechobee.
Oh, man, don't break your back.
Our broadcast partner has 28 pounds, 6 ounces, the third biggest stringer in FLW history. Larry went to the south end of the lake and used a Berkeley power worm to take the lead heading into day two.
You have to keep catching fish to stay in the game. Watch out for the alligator.
It's the morning of day two now, and just like so many times before, the rest of the field is chasing this guy, Larry Nixon. Larry, you're in good position.
Yeah, I am. I never expected to catch that big a string of fish, but, it's a good thing to happen because today maybe I don't have to catch but 10 pounds to make the cut.
Nixon takes off for South Bay Bottom. The veteran uses day two to set up his final round and finds his 10 pounds, earning the second best way to the qualifying round. Still south of the launch near Ritta Island, Florida's Sandy Melvin is putting on a clinic, slow rolling his number 6 Hillebrand blade. Spinnerbait presentation darts around underwater vegetation, through spawning flats, and produces a limit in 20 minutes. Though he never finds the big bites, the NASCAR pro finishes in the money in 56th place. As the anglers return for the weigh-in, Juan has a bigger smile than anyone because he has a bigger fish than anyone. Dean Rojas' 10-pounder was big bass of the tournament, good enough for a big boost into the top 10.
That's what's so exciting about it, because when you make a huge comeback like that, man, you're pumped, and you're feeling good, and you can't wait till tomorrow.
Triumph met with tragedy for Chris McCall. When the Texas pro returned to the weigh-in on day one with over 27 pounds, he learned his mother had passed away during the day. Knowing she'd want him to continue the biggest tournament of his young career, McCall keeps fishing and turns in the best catch of the day, leading the charge into the finals.
It's tough because, she's always wanted me to have success, and I've had some success, but never, been able to pull off something of this magnitude, and it's hard to know that I can't call her and say, hey, this may happen this time. So that's the hardest part about it.
McCall's biggest fan has an unobstructed view for today's final round. We've come about 15 miles. This is the middle of Bay Bottom, and this is Chris McCall, number 2 in the standings and just over a pound out of the lead. He's throwing a spinnerbait right now. We'll find if that's working. We'll also find out how he's overcome a personal tragedy that hit his family this week.
We'll be talking to the anglers out on the water while they're out there trying to win that $100,000 first place prize. Then we'll come back in, give you the scores on the top 10, find out how they're standing, and one of these anglers will walk away with a $100,000 first place prize. You'll see all that when we come right back. Welcome back. We are here at the very first stop of the FLW Tour on Lake Okeechobee, and we've got a top 10 who made our cut. That's a who's who of bass fishing, includes that, plus also some brand newcomers. Starting out in 10th place going into the final day, Larry Nixon started out on day 1 with a huge stringer, 28 pounds and 6 ounces, but struggled yesterday on day 3. The wind changed his fish totally. He brought in one fish that weighed 1 pound, 11 ounces. In 9th place, Billy Bowen, also yesterday. Slow day for him, but he had a slow day on day 1 of this event. Came back with a huge stringer on day 2. He knows what to do under cold front conditions. We could see some huge performances from Billy today. In 8th place, Rick Lilligard. He's consistently there, knocking around the top 10. Dean Rojas, what a year he's having this year, a great start. He's shooting for Angler of the Year, and he'd love to do that by starting with a win on Lake Okeechobee. 6th place, James Parker. He believes he's on enough fish to win, but he says he doesn't need the wind to blow. Needs a calm water, and that's what he's got today. We'll see what Sergeant Major comes up with today. Shin Fuke from Japan. This is his very first tournament in the United States. What great talent he's shown and brought in consistent stringers every single day. In 4th place, Dave Lefebvre from Erie, Pennsylvania. His 2nd year along the Walmart FLW Tour. I tell you what, this young man right here has got fishing talent unbelievable. In 3rd place is David Dudley from Manio, North Carolina, the winner of the year-end championship in Richmond. $500,000 he won there. He has won $1.6 million along FLW Tour, and he's looking to add $100,000 to that today. In 2nd place, just one cast out of the lead, Chris McCall from Jasper, Texas. He loves fishing on Lake Okeechobee. Says it reminds him a little bit of his home lake, Lake Sam Rayburn, where there's some huge fish there. He is on them and on some big ones. And even though the wind blew hard yesterday, he was able to come up with a good stringer. He could be real dangerous today. This guy who moved up from the Everstart is ready for his first FLW Tour win. In the lead going into today, Ray Scheide. He's from Russellville, Arkansas. He moved up to the Central Division of the Everstart Series. Every day he's gone out with huge stringers. He's going to bring in a huge stringer of fish today. We're going to have a shootout. Chris McCall goes in today in 2nd place. He brought in the largest string over the first 2 days, 46 pounds, 6 ounces. He's on some huge fish. He's out on the water with Taylor Carr.
This is Chris McCall from Jasper, Texas. He had 46 pounds the first 2 days, in 2nd position today. And Chris, you have 4 fish in the boat, and you're throwing a spinnerbait now. Is that how they've all come?
Yeah, I've caught 3 of the 4 on a spinnerbait this morning. I got one little bitty fish that I've caught on the Cinco, or a Gambler Ace. That's what I'm talking about right there. 8.15 and I got 3. I thought I was gonna lose that one. I let that one get me a little bit up in that stuff. It's been tough. It's been tough again today, just like it was yesterday. I've missed one fish 4 or 5 pounds, and right now I'm desperately searching for another one.
Now, Chris, most of the big bites have come flipping mats. Why has the spinnerbait worked for you?
What I'm starting to think the main reason is that I'm seeing a lot of fry, and I think a lot of the fish that have come up and spawned are hanging around the fry, and that's why I'm thinking, you know, I'm getting so many more bites on a spinnerbait.
What's your blade configuration there?
It's a half-ounce spinnerbait with a gold front blade, the big blade, a 4.5 gold, and then the little silver. And it's a gold colored skirt.
What's an estimate on your weight right now?
Not much. I'm thinking I probably got 5 or 6 pounds. I got 2 12-inchers in there, and then maybe a 2.5 pounder and a 2 pounder. So I don't have a whole lot.
Are you concerned?
I'm very concerned. Losing that good one this morning is just really, you know, I try and block it out, but when you're fishing for this much money, it's hard.
Chris, you've had a really tough week this week. You learned the death of your mother on Wednesday. Has it been as difficult as it would seem?
It's been real hard. The only thing that's made it a little easier is I know she'd want me to be here, and you know, I'm busy. I keep fishing, and right now I'm able to pretty much concentrate on that, and with the help of, you know, everybody involved in the tournament, the FLW Outdoors, and my camera guys, they've kept me focused, and my mind, even when it's gotten tough, I hadn't been able to, you know, think about it during the tournament.
You've got a lot of admirers out there, you know.
Yeah, it's, you know, I love it, but that's a hard way to get them. I never knew my mom would be so famous.
Chris, we're going to let you fish. Good luck the rest of the day.
Thank you, guys.
Chris McCall from Jasper, Texas. Not where he wants to be, Charlie, but he's not giving up.
We've caught up with Dean Rojas out on the water. Dean, how's it going today?
Hey Charlie, it's going okay. It finally got flat to where I'm just starting to start looking at them right now. I've got 4 of them in the boat right now, but they're just little guys, little males, and let's see if we can't find some bigger fish here in a few minutes.
We know you said yesterday you're in an area that has a lot of big fish. That's what you need today. Came in today a little over 6 pounds out of the lead.
Yeah, that's something that I'm going to need. I'm really going to concentrate on right now. I'm in the area right now that a lot of the big fish are hanging around, and it's just a matter now of really keying in them and trying to find them. The water's gin clear. I've got ideal conditions right now. There's no wind, high skies, no clouds, and I'm going to start going to work here in a few minutes.
Have you seen any big fish cruising?
Not yet. It hasn't gotten right. Right now is prime time. We're just getting into the good time of the day right now where I can visually see them, and we're going to go hunt for them right now.
All right, Dean. Good luck to you. We'll see you at the weigh-in. When we come back, we'll join Larry Nixon on the water trying to make a huge comeback.
Difficult. Look out there. My goodness, you could flip for miles around here, and there might be a fish out there, and there might not.
Hello, I'm Terry Seagraves from Kissimmee, Florida with today's trivia game. How many pounds of potatoes does Frito-Lay use in a year to make its potato chips? A, 5 million, B, 50 million, C, 1 billion, or D, 5 billion.
To win, log on to FLWOutdoors.com. The winner is randomly drawn from all correct answers. Winners receive a die-cast replica of an FLW Outdoors sponsor boat, value $185.
Welcome back to FLW Outdoors. We're here on Lake Okeechobee, the very first stop of the Walmart FLW Tour. A total purse of $500,000 at stake here, $100,000 going to the winner. We'll go out on the water where the action is. We caught up with James Parker. He's out there on the lake. James, how's your day going today?
It's kind of slow right now. I've had 2 bites and caught one of them, and he wouldn't measure. And what I was doing early was trying to throw a spinnerbait, and it's just not going to work. These fish covered up pretty tight last night.
I know that you know, James, that once they start biting, if you can get on them, it won't take just a few moments, but I know you also got to be getting a little bit anxious right now.
I've been anxious for quite a while there, you know, and that's what I've been telling myself, just to calm down, and if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, because when they do start, if they warm up just a little bit more, I think it might make a lot of difference.
James Parker out there in the area where he's caught them all along. He's going to hang in there and ride the horse that brought him there. Good luck to you, James. We'll see you at the weigh-in this afternoon.
Thanks a lot. Talk to you later.
Let's see what Larry Nixon's doing out on Lake Okeechobee.
I'm going to move out away from the mats a little ways. These fish, if they're in here, they're underneath it, I guess. Buried under it. There's some fish out there scattered hydrilla out here. You just catch random casting, just throwing out in the middle of nowhere. But flat water lakes are that way. You may drift. You may go to an area and spend a whole day drifting and then find one little 100-yard stretch where they're just piled up. And they'll move around on flats every day on you. That's the hard part. There'll be certain areas that are always good, but anytime you've got a lot of vegetation out away from what we call the matted stuff, I mean, they can be at any depth. It depends on what phase of the year that you're in. And spawn fish, they go in and out all the time. I mean, they'll be in here a week and then they move out there and stay a while, and boat traffic will move them around. Takes a lot of patience to fish this way. One thing my dad told me a long time ago, son, if you're gonna catch any fish, you gotta learn to be patient.
Our leader of this event, Ray Scheide, is not intimidated by any angler out there. He's out on the water with Taylor Carr.
This is an angler with confidence. Tournament leader Ray Scheide from Russellville, Arkansas. You've had a good start, Ray. What's been happening?
I always start way out on the point, you know, the first spot where I think those big females, they have a little matted hydrilla and some hyacinths mixed in there. And I caught one about 6 to start the day out. I'm just now getting to the good stuff. And right when I entered the good, you know, what I considered a good 200 yards, I caught another one about 4.5 or 5. So it's a good start to the morning. If I don't get bit that often, that's okay. I sure like the quality.
So somewhere around 11 pounds right now.
I'm gonna say 10, you know, and that hopefully my nervousness didn't enlarge them. But yeah, I think somewhere around 10 pounds for 2 fish.
I can't detect it a bit. In fact, you said a minute ago, guys, hang on, I'm going to catch a fish right up in here. You really feel like you're on them.
There's just thousands of fish in this area that, you know, a lot of people came here and fish, but they didn't really figure out the ones that are vulnerable, the ones that you can catch is, I think I'm really dialed into them, you know. You need hydrilla, of course, to support all these fish, but when you have these isolated mats like that in hydrilla, that creates caverns underneath that hydrilla. The hydrilla don't grow right there, and one hole can hold a whole school of fish. So that's what I'm keying on. And I've been getting, my slowest days, I've been getting 12 bites a day. And I think the colder it gets, the better it gets for that type of fishing. So when I came into this tournament, that's why I know Florida in January, you're gonna have a cold front sometime during the tournament. See that corner right there? That's exactly what you look for. Some hyacinths tucked away in that hydrilla right there. And no matter which way the wind blows, it's protected. So, I mean, that is textbook what you look for. I wish I could find 10 places just like it.
That's a blue craw you're working there, and you're bouncing it pretty good. What's the key to making the fish hit?
You know, that's another thing. Just, you know, I have a lot of people fishing around me this week that couldn't catch them. And I don't let it sit on the bottom. When I first got here in practice, when I found these fish, the key was to hold it up underneath that mat and just sit there and rattle it. But I don't know if it was pressure or just mood change because, you know, these fish they're on the move. They're trying to go in there and spawn. But they're always up near the top third. So even if they don't hit you right there underneath that mat, as soon as you start to drop it down, that's when you're going to get your bite.
You know, Ray, you might win the first event you ever fish in the FLW.
If I do, it's only for one reason, and that's the support that I have from my family. You know, it's cool to have all your friends congratulate you, and the money, Lord knows I need it. But the coolest thing of all is just to see that sparkle in my wife's eyes, because she's the only reason I'm here.
Well, Ray, with your good start today and your lead, if you don't win, will you be disappointed?
These guys are so tough. I've already exceeded my expectations. I had a bite right there. No, I've exceeded my expectations, and I've had a great time regardless, but I like to win.
When we come back, this arena right here will be full of people. The stage will have anglers on it. We'll have lots of excitement. The tension level will mount up. Somebody's going to win $100,000 here. It's going to be very exciting. Don't go away.
You know, I caught a 10-pounder, man. I mean, that's something that you just, you know, you always dream about.
I did the best I could do. If I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. But hopefully I'll win, but I don't think so.
You know, you got to fish wide open, and there's those rare occasions when exactly what you think is going to happen, it happens.
It's been one of the funnest tournaments I've ever fished. This place is just phenomenal. All the big fish. I can't wait to come back next year, really.
your 10 finalists in the first event of the 2004 FLW Tour. From Bee Branch, Arkansas, Larry Nixon. From Ocala, Florida, Billy Bowen. From Atkinson, New Hampshire, Rick Lilligard. From Grand Saline, Texas, Dean Rojas. Just over 5 pounds off the lead from Fayetteville, North Carolina, James Parker. Just over 4 pounds off the lead from Osaka, Japan, Shin Fukai. Our next finalist was one of the top rookies from last year and is quickly proving there is no sophomore slump for him. From Erie, Pennsylvania, Dave LaFibra. He's within striking distance of 100,000, just over 3.5 pounds off the lead. From Manteo, North Carolina, David Dudley. Our next finalist is in his second season on the FLW Tour. He led the charge coming out of the qualifying round with an amazing 46 pounds, 6 ounces. From Jasper, Texas, Chris McCall. And our final finalist is in his first ever FLW tournament, and he has made quite a debut. He showed no jitters with a day 2 weight of 20 pounds even. Your leader with 14.5 pounds from Russellville, Arkansas, Ray Scheide. Ladies and gentlemen, your finalists on Lake Okeechobee. When we come back, we'll see those awesome Lake Okeechobee bass. And welcome back to FLW Outdoors, everyone. This is the first event on the $6.8 million FLW Tour. A $500,000 purse here, $100,000 to the winner, and the weigh-in has begun. 3 anglers gone already, including fishing legend Larry Nixon. He was the first to go. He had 28 pounds on day 1. Larry is already gone. Then Billy Bowen, a local favorite from Ocala. Billy Bowen is also gone. And Rick Lilligard from Atkinson, New Hampshire. Rick Lilligard also eliminated. Here's your leaderboard. Ray Scheide in first place, 14 pounds, 8 ounces, yet to weigh a fish. Followed by Billy Bowen Jr., who has weighed out. Then Chris McCall, David Dudley, and Dave LaFibra. Second page of the leaderboard, Shin Fukai, 10 pounds, 2 ounces. James Parker, followed by Dean Rojas, and then having weighed out, Larry Nixon and Rick Lilligard. Next up to the stage is Dean Rojas from Grand Saline, Texas. He had a 10-pounder in qualifying, Charlie.
He had 8 pounds, 6 ounces yesterday. Again, needs 6'2". There's fish number 1. Reaching for number 2. Here comes number 3. Number 4. All just keepers so far. And number 5. 5 keepers. 5 fish. Total weight here, 5 pounds, 1 ounce. You got a limit, but they were very small.
Actually, a lot of the fish I was catching were spawners, and man, they all vacated the area. That cold front last night, it got a little bit of frost, and a lot of my big fish moved around, and they just would not lock on. So what I just did was just took a 7-inch worm and just kind of swim it around the grass, and was able to catch the five bass that I weighed in.
Dean Rojas, ladies and gentlemen, you'll see him in the top 10 again this year. Give him a good round of applause.
Dean Rojas. Charlie, our next angler needs 5 pounds, 2 ounces to take the lead. He is from Fayetteville, North Carolina, James Parker. Oh,
James. Sergeant Major, you came out of the boat missing something.
The cold front hurt me just a little bit, and the fish settled down, and if I had to do it all over again, I'd do the same thing.
Let's give him a good round of applause. James Parker.
Our next angler needs 4 pounds, 6 ounces to take the lead. He's come a long way from Osaka, Japan. Please welcome Shin Fukai.
Shin fishing in the Fuji boat today. All right, there's fish number 1. And Shin looking for 4 pounds, 6 ounces to take the lead. Here comes fish number 2 for Shin. This is very first tournament in the Walmart FLW Tour. Then from Osaka. All right, let's see what we've got here. Looking for 4 pounds, 6 ounces, and he has it. 4 pounds, 14 ounces, a new leader, Shin.
Next to the stage, and he needs 4.11 to take the lead from Erie, Pennsylvania. It's Dave Lefebvre.
This is his second year along the Walmart FLW Tour. He started out this year on a stream here, heading toward what he hopes to be a great year for him and possible shot at the Angler of the Year. A win here on Lake Okeechobee. He's already got the top 10 sewed up. There's fish number 2. Let's see if he's got enough. He's got 2 fish that weigh 5 pounds, 4 ounces, a new leader, Dave Lefebvre.
All right. Our next angler, a veteran of big weigh-ins, Charlie. He needs 4.13 to take the lead from Medio, North Carolina, David Dudley.
He needs 4.14. 4.14 for our Yamaha Pro. There's fish number 1. Beautiful fish. Here comes number 2. Looking for 4 pounds, 14 ounces. We're going to need 1 more. For Team Castro, that should do it. 3 bass in the bag. They weigh a total of 5 pounds, 13 ounces, a new leader.
Charlie, our next angler to the stage has become a favorite this week. It is Chris McCall from Jasper, Texas. Chris?
Chris weighed in 46 pounds, 6 ounces over the first 2 days. And Chris needs 3 pounds, 3 ounces, 3-3 to take the lead. Here's fish number 1. That weighs 210. We'll need fish number 2. Here comes number 2. And that may very well do it. 3-3 is what we're looking for. He's got 2 fish that weigh 4 pounds, 8 ounces, a new leader, Chris McCall.
Woo. Man. Charlie, our next angler, fishing his first ever event in the FLW Tour. He needs 3 pounds, 6 ounces to take the lead. He comes from Russellville, Arkansas. His name is Ray Scheide. He's got some fans in the crowd, too.
Ray Scheide fished in the EverStart Series, the Central Division of the EverStart Series, to earn his way into the Walmart FLW Tour. The top 15 from last year's got the opportunity to move up and try it with the big guys, and Ray has been fishing with the big guys all week long out of the 7-Up boat. Qualified in the top 10 by a mere 2 ounces, but that was enough to get him, and yesterday went out and caught the largest stringer out there. All right, Ray Scheide needs 3 pounds, 6 ounces, is that right? 3-6 to take the lead. His weight, 2 fish, 5 pounds, 5 ounces, a new leader.
That'll bring back to the stage. That's Shin Fukai. Shin needs 4.13 to take the lead.
Shin, a JBA Angler of the Year, a legend in Japan, and they love bass fishing in Japan. Shin speaks fluent English. All right, Shin needs 4 pounds, 13 ounces. There's fish number 4, and here is his limit fish that may do it. A 5-fish limit for Shin. 5 fish, all alive. They weigh 5 pounds, 7 ounces, a new leader, Shin Fukai.
Man, we go back to Erie, Pennsylvania's Dave Lefebvre. He needs 4.14 to take the lead.
Kellogg's Pro, Dave Lefebvre again. 4 pounds, 14 ounces. He's already weighed in 2 fish. Here comes fish number 3. Reaching for number 4. And here his tournament limit. He needs 4.14. These fish weigh 3 pounds, 14 ounces, not quite enough, Dave. Let's watch you in action out there on the Big O. Tell us what you're doing, Dave.
But most of them I caught on a wedge tail, and you just swim it through the grass. It feels like a rattle trap. It's a great bait for down here. And today finally got into the flip and bite a little bit. I've been saving it till today, and I was so excited because I've been fishing the open water. Today was the day I was going to spend flipping the outside edges, and man, I just couldn't get them.
He's our Kellogg's Pro, Dave Lefebvre. Let's give him a good round of applause.
All right, Charlie, we're down to 4 anchors. When we come back, we'll inch closer to crowning a champion on Lake Okeechobee. we have 4 anglers to go. Let's check our 7-Up leaderboard. On top is Shin Fukai, 20 pounds, 7 ounces, trailed by Ray Scheide at 19.13. And then Dave Lefebvre, who is weighed out. Chris McCall and David Dudley are 4 and 5. In 6th place, Billy Bowen Jr. has weighed out, as has Dean Rojas, James Parker, Larry Nixon, and Rick Lilligard. Let's weigh 4 more, Charlie. From Manteo, North Carolina, David Dudley.
Looking for 314 for David Dudley. And there is fish number 4 for David. Let's check that weight. It's 3.5, so he'll need 1 more. Will certainly take the lead, and he does have a limit. A 5 fish limit for David Dudley. He'll be our new leader. 5 fish that weigh 6 pounds, 2 ounces for these two. That puts him in the lead, David Dudley. And that knocks out Shin Fukai. Eliminates him from competition.
Charlie and everyone, can I speak Japanese, please?
Please.
Okay. こんなね、たくさん人集まっていただいて、本当にありがとうございます。こんな素晴らしい、場所を与えてくれた、FLW の皆さん、お客様、スタッフ皆様、本当にありがとうございます。Thank you for everything.
Domo Shin, we look forward to you all year long, and we're going to have a ball with him. Shin Fukai, let's give him a good round of applause.
All right, David Dudley still leads, and Chris McCall is next. Charlie, he needs 4:13 to take the lead. Here's Chris McCall.
4:13 will put him in the lead. Anything less than that, and Chris will be gone. Chris fishing again out of our Snickers boat. Let's make sure we're perfect zero, Chris, and we are. Here's fish number 1. Again, this makes his 3rd fish, actually. He's already weighed in 2. Here's fish number 4. He needs 4 pounds, 13 ounces, and it will take his 3rd fish. There's 3.8. We're trying to get to 4 pounds, 13 ounces. He has 3 fish that weigh 5 pounds, 3 ounces, a new leader, and that knocks out David Dudley. David, we got video of you out there on the lake. Let's watch you at work on Lake Okeechobee. Tell us what you're doing.
But today I saw a lot of fish cruising, a lot of fish moving up and paired up, and they just hadn't done their deal yet, and it was kind of frustrating to see all these fish and not be able to catch them.
All right, could you be throwing that rabbit dog spinner bait when we get to Chaffalaya Basin?
Oh, there's no doubt. That is a spinner bait heaven up there. I'll be throwing the rabbit dog spinner bait there.
We'll see him with the rabbit dog in Chaffalaya Basin. David Dudley, our Castro Pro. Let's give him a good round of applause.
Nice job, David. It'll be either Chris McCall or Ray Scheide. We'll find out when we come back. We'll crown a champion next on FLW Outdoors. Pretty exciting. 2 anglers remain, and welcome back to the $500,000 first tour stop. One of these guys will raise a check for $100,000. Let's go to Charlie Evans now. He's with Chris McCall.
Chris McCall in the lead right now, but he's weighed in all 5 of his fish. His challenger's weighed in only 2 so far. If he's got many fish, if he's got a limit, we're in trouble.
Yeah, I think we're in trouble.
Nobody had a better first 2 days than you did, Chris. 46 pounds, 6 ounces. I mean, you were on your game.
Yeah, it was just tremendous. I've had such a good time here. Every day has been just great to be on the water.
Let's watch you and work out there on the water. You've got you in action here on Lake Okeechobee, and tell us what you're doing out there.
Right here, I'm throwing a spinnerbait. I believe this is the first fish I caught this morning. I'm just working outside of those reeds. That was my main pattern all week, was throwing a spinnerbait. Today I did catch 3 off the beds.
What color spinnerbait did you throw?
I was throwing a gold. It had a gold skirt on it, and it was tandem blades. The main blade was a 4.5 gold willow leaf, and the other one was a little silver one.
All right, we saw the emergent vegetation. What was underneath the water?
I was really trying to find clear spots, you know, where I could see some the shell beds and trying to find clean areas that had scattered hydrilla.
Led after 2 days, a limit yesterday, and really, really tough times. Another limit today. You've done about the best you can do.
Yeah, I really have. I did lose 1 good fish today. It missed a spinnerbait 3 times, and then I finally threw an ace back in there, and I stuck it, and it got me in the reeds, and it was a 4 or 5 pounder I'd have liked to have had.
All right, if you do not win this event, the worst you can do is 2nd place, looks like, and you finish 2nd in a Triple T, 2nd in an Everstart, and possibly a 2nd here. It's time to get over the top.
Yeah, it is. But you know, if I can second's going to be great. I'll be really thrilled.
It'll be a great start for you this year along the Walmart FLW Tour. He's been a fan favorite all week long, Chris McCall. Now let's go over to Taylor Carr. He's with the only guy that can knock him off.
And this is Ray Scheide from Russellville, Arkansas, fishing his first event in the FLW Tour. You've got at least second place. It's going to be tough to follow this, Ray.
Oh, I know it. I hope I can make a habit of this.
We watched you today, and you were so calm out there. Where did that come from?
I don't know. It's I'm excited inside, but I just wanted to handle it businesslike and go out and finish this deal today, and hopefully I've done that. That's a good one. The big one. Come here, baby. Come here, big head. Come on. That's what's fun about this. You got to put her in four-wheel drive. Go get them. And that's what lives in these mats right here.
Those fish were coming through heavy mats. What size line were you using? Were you worried you were going to lose fish in the mats?
You know, typically you do, but I tie a special knot, and I use 65-pound braided line, and I lost 2 fish all week. That line's very tough. One of the fish I lost is when I set the hook, that line's so tough it busted the reel seats right off my reel. So they ain't getting away if I can get them up in that mat, though.
Ray, was there any one thing you learned in practice that really turned out to be profitable in the tournament?
I just worked really hard. I do that in every tournament. I pay my, I go 7 days daylight till dark on this one being my first FLW, and it just exceeded my expectations. And the best thing, is it's great to have all the thank yous from all these great guys, and my hero Larry Nixon is fishing in the first top 10 with me. And but the most awesome thing is my wife. To be able to call her and tell her.
You might have a good story to tell. You need 3 pounds, 4 ounces. Folks, you think he has it? Let's see if Ray Scheide has 3 pounds, 4 ounces and can knock off our leader, Chris McCall.
Chris McCall's kind of sitting over here. He may be, from looking at that video, realizing that something may be in there more than 3 pounds, 4 ounces in there, because Ray has only weighed in 2 fish out of a possible 5 fish limit. He's got a total weight of 1913. There's fish number 3. Here comes fish number 4. And to seal the victory and make it a run road, there is fish number 5. These 3 fish weigh a total of 16 pounds, 4 ounces. We have a champion.
Ray Scheide, your winner on Lake Okeechobee. Come around here, Ray. Right over here. Oh, I mean, you just blew these guys away. Unbelievable.
I don't know. I told the guys this morning I've done everything I could to prepare myself. It's up to somebody else, and boy, someone was looking out for me today.
We were watching you this morning. Did you think you'd have the fish to win?
Oh, I didn't know. This lake is just unbelievable. 28, 30 pounds, 35 pounds. I never gave up until the last minute because the guys I'm fishing against, they're just unbelievable, and I never let up. I still thought I needed more.
You're missing one thing up here. Let's bring it on stage right now. $100,000 right over there. Ron Whitaker, Sporting Goods Department Manager. Here is your $100,000 check. $500,000 up for grabs in the first stop on the FLW Tour. Your winner, Ray Scheide, takes home $100,000. And here is our final 7-Up leaderboard. Chris McCall, a check for $35,000 in second place. Third place, David Dudley in $20,000. In fourth place, Shin Fukai. In fifth place, Dave Lefebvre. Your sixth place finisher, Billy Bowen Jr. In seventh place, Dean Rojas. Eighth place, James Parker. Ninth place, Larry Nixon. And 10th place, Rick Lilligard. Folks, you have seen the best in professional fishing. Join us next week when Larry Nixon tells us how this event was won. So long, everybody.
Stay on there, baby. Stay on there, yeah. Yeah. Who's your daddy at? Who's your daddy?
Here comes Larry Nixon, and look at that stringer of fish.
This place is just phenomenal. All the big fish. I can't wait to come back next year. I should have learned English.
Domo. Arigato.
Japanese?
All right, which one of you little fellers wants to go back? Don't really matter. Yes, all right.
Put the main coder in four-wheel drive. We're going in. I love Florida.
What happens when the awesome anglers of the FLW Tour converge on one of the world's best bass fisheries? 2 words: monster largemouth. Veteran pro Larry Nixon was in the middle of the hunt and now joins us for expert analysis. FLW Outdoors is the place for all the action.
Yes, sir. That's what we're looking for, my friend. Ball game, baby. Yeah.
He could have one more in. Here it does. We have a champion.
That fish broke my line the other day. I got him. Hallelujah!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Walmart FLW Outdoors. We come to you from Clewiston, Florida, the first stop on the $6.8 million FLW Tour, Lake Okeechobee. 2 of the finalists by my side, our own Larry Nixon and Dave Lefebvre. Good job, gentlemen.
Thanks. Thank you, Taylor. Dave, great job, man. What a tournament. You know, I fished around you last year at Santee Cooper, and me and you fished that tournament exactly alike.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to. I give you credit all day today to my cameraman. I was saying, you know, I learned a lot last year at Santee Cooper from Larry, and I'm fishing the same way you were at Santee in this tournament. Just being quiet, you know, and not being on the trolling motor much and just drifting through when possible. And
that's really important. I'm telling you, you know, how quiet you are when you're in shallow, grassy lakes is one of the most important things that a fisherman can remember.
Dave, this is just your second year on tour, but it's your second top 10. You seem to be really in touch with your fishing senses now.
It takes a long time. I'm still not over fishing with these guys, and you gotta believe in yourself.
You hear that, Larry?
I hate it when they do that to me.
It is really hard, and for other guys that are just starting to get into this game, that's the main thing that they're going to have to overcome. I really believe that, and it was something that I was unprepared for, and it hit me hard, you know. But I'm getting around it. Just to walk by Larry and have him say, "Hey, Dave," that he knows my name. It means a lot to me, and it gives me a lot of confidence.
Dave Lefebvre, 5th place. Congratulations. Good job.
Fabulous tournament.
Larry Nixon stays with us. There was a lot of compelling drama on Okeechobee this year. We're going to see some of it right now on FLW Outdoors.
What started with 200 boats 3 days ago is now down to 10. The final day is the shortest, only 7 hours and 15 minutes of fishing for the $100,000 first place prize. The unlikely leader is a rookie from Russellville, Arkansas, Ray Scheide, with 14.5 pounds the first day. 1 pound and 2 ounces back, second-year pro Chris McCall competing in the face of personal tragedy. Veteran David Dudley is in third, about 3.5 pounds off the lead. And Kellogg's pro Dave Lefebvre is in fourth, just over 4 pounds back, and concerned about the 3 anglers he trails and the tough competitors who trail him.
What if? There's quite a few variables. That's the only thing. I mean, the uncontrollables are the things you don't have to worry about. It's been said before, but that he hasn't fished yet, and Bowen's moving, and it just scares you, but you can't do nothing about it. Just go out here, and I know there's a bunch of big fish here, and I mean, there is a bunch of big fish in here. It's unbelievable.
Well, it's going to be the hardest part of the day, a short day, and really the right way to fish this stuff is slow, and it's hard to fish something slow when you got a short day.
Right now, Billy Bowen is the only Florida angler left, and though well off the lead, he's a threat for a big stringer.
I'm on big fish. Oh boy, I don't know if that was a bite or not, just a little antsy. Felt good to me, and it don't hurt to swing.
Difficult, look out there. My goodness, you could flip for miles around here, and there might be a fish out there and there might not.
Larry Nixon stands in 10th place, but nobody's forgetting the 28 pounds he had on day one. Another day even close to that, and it's a new ball game.
As much as I practiced, the only fish I could get on was just dead sticking a bait. I couldn't catch flipping fish. There's always more than one way to do good, and I kind of figured it'd either be flipping or fishing real slow, and I've got to stay with what I got confidence in. Takes a lot of patience to fish this way. One thing my dad told me a long time ago, son, if you're going to catch any fish, you got to learn to be patient.
Patience. That's a virtue Nixon shares with retired Sergeant Major James Parker.
I might be doing something out of the norm here, but I just got to do it. Spinnerbait's what I live and die by most of the time. They've been in these sticks pretty good. That cold front, I tell you, they put on the long sleeve sweater last night. Florida bass, there's got to be one out there that's not going to let it bother them.
For 3 days, fishing's been an escape for Chris McCall. Minutes after day one's competition, he got news of his mother's death.
It's been real hard. I know she'd want me to be here, and you know, I'm busy. I keep fishing, and right now I'm able to pretty much concentrate on that, and I chose to start a little bit different area this morning than where I've been starting. This is where I caught my 5.5 pounder on my last cast yesterday, and I'm trying to stay in the area this morning. Hope he didn't keep with it's not being beat by the wind as bad as where I started yesterday, and
Spinnerbaiting when most of the field was flipping is about to pay off for McCall. With that 2-pounder, he takes the lead from Ray Scheide.
That'll work.
7 minutes later, McCall expands his lead. He's now got 16.5 pounds to Scheide's 14.5.
Woo!
The $500,000 Lake Okeechobee Tour stop has a new leaderboard. After McCall and Scheide, it's David Dudley and Dave Lefebvre. And Lefebvre is about to put his equipment to the test.
Coming up next on FLW Outdoors, an angler who had to overcome a personal tragedy this week, Chris McCall.
And it's hard to know that I can't call her and say, hey, you know, this may happen this time. So that's the hardest part about it.
Here's this week's Ozark Trails trivia. What is the Florida state record for largemouth bass? Is it 20 pounds 2 ounces, 19 pounds 1 ounce, 14 pounds 10 ounces, or 17 pounds 4 ounces? The answer coming up on FLW Outdoors. Your Ozark Trails trivia answer is D. The Florida state record for largemouth bass, 17 pounds 4 ounces from an unnamed lake in Polk County in 1986. FLW Outdoors continues from Clewiston, Florida. We've just crowned a champion on the first stop of the $6.8 million Walmart FLW Tour. Chris McCall finished second place. Larry Nixon. Chris, super job.
Thank you.
Chris, you fished your first day. You had an outstanding day on day one. You took the lead, and you came off the water, and you got some terrible news.
Yeah, I came in and found out that my mom had passed away, and you know, it was sudden because, you know, as far as we knew, she wasn't having any problems, and she just passed away in her sleep and ended up being, you know, she passed from a heart attack. The hardest part was coming off the water on the first day and not being able to call her and say, hey, you know, I got a chance here, and because she'd get so aggravated the first day if I didn't catch them, you know, and, well, why didn't you catch them? Why does everybody else catch them and you don't? So, but she would have wanted me to finish, and I can't say enough. I had some strange things happen this week, you know, that I definitely feel like were because of her.
Chris, was it a hard decision to decide to keep fishing?
No, because, you know, I talked to my dad about it, and he told me to go ahead and go out and see what happened on the second day. And talking to my grandparents and my dad, they all knew she would have wanted me to stay and finish.
Of course.
Yeah, and you know, and I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank all the people at FLW Outdoors, all the websites, everybody that supported me this week through this tournament. It has just been wonderful. I hope the next time I do get it's under better circumstances. But I just can't tell how much I appreciate everybody.
You have a lot of admirers now on this tour, Chris. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Chris
Really
McCall,
proud of you, man.
second place, $35,000. More action now from Lake Okeechobee.
And Chris McCall still holds the narrow lead he took minutes ago from Ray Scheide. David Dudley's in third and Dave Lefebvre fourth, but that's about to change. Lefebvre's flipping soft plastic, a Stanley wedge tail, and talking to his cameraman when he gets into his first keeper of the day. At just over a pound, the fish puts Lefebvre in third and breaks his rod.
Look what that does when you break a rod. It took two guides off. See that? Broke the rod right in the middle. Took two of the guides with it.
Lefebvre now knows he's one big bite out of the lead, but Dudley is too, and he's good on Okeechobee with 2 top 10s in the last 3 years. Today, after no luck flipping, he decides to make a move.
I know where a few are on the bed, so sun's up. I'm going to try to see if I can't do something with the fish on the bed now. Be able to see a little bit more.
In Pelican Bay, Scheide is flipping hydrilla mats with a little bit of hyacinth, and he's on a spot that yielded an 8-pounder on day 2. With a gambler cricket, an 1.5 ounce tungsten weight, and 65-pound braided line, Scheide is explaining why this area has been so good to him.
It's a little bit different every day, and I'm not real sure why. But these hyacinths, the way they mat up like this, we're fishing in about 5 foot of water. After you drop through about a... that's a good one. The big one. Come here, baby. Come here, big head. Come on. That's what's fun about this. You gotta put her in 4-wheel drive, go get them. And that's what lives in these mats right here. That's the way to start out the morning. That's what I'm talking about, big females up in the grass. There ain't nothing else like it. I think I'm gonna move to Florida.
That fish goes 5.5 pounds and puts Scheide back into the lead he lost minutes ago to McCall.
I love Florida.
Scheide's first keeper pushes his 2-day final round total to 20 pounds, 3.5 ahead of McCall. And more than 10 pounds ahead of Dean Rojas, who doesn't yet know that his job just got a lot tougher.
But I definitely had my work cut out for me today. Just being a matter of being patient and fishing in the right area where I know there's nice quality fish that are going to get me there. But right now I just want to catch some keepers and get them in the boat.
Rojas better get on it. He's losing ground to the leader and still looking for his first fish. And he's got company in James Parker, Billy Bowen, Rick Lilligard, Shin Fukai, and David Dudley. Larry Nixon manages an early keeper, but he's not keeping pace with Scheide. McCall is still in second, 3.5 pounds back, still throwing a spinnerbait and still hoping it's his day.
You know, I want to at least make sure that, get 10 or 11, 12 pounds today, so it's, at least when I go in there, I feel like I have a chance because I want to know what that feeling's like. I want to know what it's like to, feel like you have a chance to win $100,000 on the last day when you're standing there at weigh-in.
Meanwhile, Scheide's back to flipping mats in an area that seems to hold all the promise in the world. It's Scheide, McCall, Lefebvre, and Dudley in the race for the $100,000 first prize on Lake Okeechobee.
Up next on FLW Outdoors, a man who knows about fishing for big money. We go on to Lake Okeechobee with David Dudley. And welcome back to FLW Outdoors. Taylor Carr and Larry Nixon. We have just crowned a champion on Lake Okeechobee, and we're about to see David Dudley fishing, Larry. Now, he's a guy who likes to sight fish once in a while.
That's right. He does a good job no matter whether he's flipping or cranking, but he's an excellent sight fisherman. He's young. He's got good eyes.
And he's won some big money, too. That's
right. It don't bother him to fish for big money.
To the waters of Lake Okeechobee with David Dudley.
Today's a new day, last day of the tournament. 4 pounds behind. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning, cold here in Florida. But you know what, I ain't gonna let it affect me. I'm gonna go out today, just like I do in every single tournament. I'm going for the win. That wasn't the one that wasn't the one. That was a different bed that I saw yesterday that wasn't nothing on it. So basically what I did there is before I got up on it, I knew about where that bed was at. I said, well, let me throw over there just in case one moved on it overnight. And one did, because there's like 3 beds right there. And I knew how each one of them laid. So there was a new one on that one. That's a good sign that still more are moving up. I knew it wasn't gonna be long. When they start flaring their gills and spitting at it and stuff like that, normally it don't take long after that. Like I said, when they start spitting at it and mouthing at it, it won't take long. It's a little one, but it'll start. Be close to 2 pounds. I don't even know if that'll make it. That was easy enough. Sight fishing is going to take a lot of patience. If you haven't done it a lot, you need an extreme amount of patience because there's a lot of clues, a lot of very fine subtleties that a fish will tell you just by the way she reacts, by the way the fish moves, there's so many things in sight fishing that can tell a whole story. And just one reaction of a fish can tell a whole story. And a lot of times, if you see one reaction, that's where your patience comes in. And it was like her pre-warning you, you know, you keep irritating me, I'm gonna bite you. Got her. Yes. That's what we're looking for right there, baby. That's what we're looking for. This is where you make a decision time. You got 2 in there, about 3 pounds. I got 3 2-pounders. I'm 3 pounds behind. It's 108. This is where you make a gutsy move. I'm gonna put it down and try to find my anchor fish in Florida, which I don't know if I can find her. If I see a catchable 3-pounder, I might stop on it. But right now, I got about an hour left. And with an hour left, I need to find Mama Mia about that big. We're now coming in. Game's over. Do I feel confident? No. I think I did the best I could do, but I believe I'm gonna be a little short. So in other words, I lose.
David Dudley's third-place finish earned him $20,000. Hardly a losing effort. The Castrol Pro was one of the most consistent anglers on tour. Dudley has finished in the top 15 in the season standings all but one of the last 7 years.
So what's it like to win the first big-time event you fished? Do you know?
Well, I don't know, Taylor. I'll tell you what, if I won the first tournament I fished, I wouldn't have anywhere to go but downhill. But it's got to be an awesome feeling to win the very first event you ever get in.
Well, Ray Scheide just found out. In a minute, we'll meet him on FLW Outdoors. And welcome back to FLW Outdoors. To my right, two anglers from Arkansas, Larry Nixon and Ray Scheide, who just won the first big-time event he ever fished. Ray, congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's all kind of seems surreal right now.
Ray, I'm going to shake your hand before I even get started because I'm in shock right now.
We saw Ray south of here today, and you had a series of mats in front of you. You seem to have a whole lot of confidence in. Was that the case?
It was, and there was probably in a quarter-mile stretch, there was probably 20 targets that I was keying on. Basically, I was looking for, you know, as windy as it was and as it gets in Florida, I was looking for, you know, we were in hydrilla, but I was looking for hyacinth mats that had been there for a while because that hydrilla won't grow underneath it and it creates a cavern, perfect staging areas. So there was about 20 of those targets down through there. It's just amazing in a wall of grass this big. If you can remember, and that's something that, you know, if you come out here and fish this stuff, if you can remember exactly where you caught that last fish, there is something there that holds, that you like. It's either a cavern or it's a hard bottom or a hole in hydrilla or there's a bed there. If you can remember that and go back to them, yesterday under one small mat down there, I caught 5 fish out of the same hole in the mat.
Now, one thing I know, it was important that you land all them big fish. And which hook did you use? Because when you hook a big fish under there, and the line also is important, because when you'd hook them, man, you just hold them up there and finally just go plowing in there and getting them.
I know, and it's 65-pound Test Power Pro braid. And I really think the key is the knot that I tie. I really don't have a name for it. It's just whenever you set the hook, it makes your hook fly out. I mean, it kicks it out.
I could flip isolated cover. But for me to go out here in Okeechobee and to get out there, it just baffles me. That's why I'm asking you all these questions. I'd just like to know, why did you pick right there? Because you got a few bites in that general area?
Well, I did.
East Wall historical place? Or
No, you know, I fished up north for a few days, and then I came down south for a few days, and I was keyed in on the flipping bite. And I had some excellent 18-pound bags in other areas. But on that last practice day, I went in there, and I got the right color water. And I got 10 bites in there. There was some boats around. They finally left, and I decided to set hook one time, and it was an 11-pounder. So I was like, oh,
that
no.
get my attention.
And so you know where I started. You know that.
I got to ask you about the money. You just won $100,000. You got plans for that money?
I'm going to give it all to my wife.
What a man.
Man, she supports me. I would not be here without her. You get me talking about my wife, I'm going to choke up. Yeah, I call her, and man, she's the only reason I'm here. And I used to be an electrician for 10 years, and they started pressuring me about not fishing so much at work, and ever since I've been little, this has just been my passion. When I'm gone traveling, she takes care of our little. I invested my retirement in a little sign business that just barely pays the bills, and while I'm out here on the trail living my dream, and now I can give it all back because she deserves it all.
All right, Ray Scheide, Russellville, Arkansas, your first
Fabulous,
tournament,
man.
your first
Fabulous.
win, $100,000 richer. Let's go back to the action now and see how Ray did it on day 4 at Lake Okeechobee.
This is my first FLW tournament, and I've already exceeded my expectations, but I knew all week long I've been just having, you know, I've been having a good week fishing.
That's the understatement of the day. Out of a field of 200 of the world's best anglers, rookie Ray Scheide is figuring out fish like nobody else, almost making it look easy.
I mean, those fish, you can see how far they're back in there. I just, missed one right there.
Dave Lefebvre doesn't know about Scheide's fast start. He just knows he's got to get on some big fish to have a shot at winning. He's decided to start close to Clewiston and start the day flipping.
Making the right call, doing this first. You always think they're biting better somewhere else. Sometimes you got to ignore that thought. Oh boy, that's a good one. All right, that's a good one there. 3-pounder, maybe 3 1/4. And let's put him on the big side. And it's early, it's early. There was 2 fish in this clump, so you know what we're gonna be doing for a while.
Only 3.5 pounds off the lead, Chris McCall's got the best chance of catching Scheide. Watch the middle of the screen as his third keeper boils on a spinnerbait, giving him 19 pounds over 2 days, just 1 pound off the lead. Back in Pelican Bay, leader Scheide is still confidently flipping mats, listening to the whir of his 65-pound braided line and explaining why this area holds big fish.
It's protected from the wind pretty well. But there he is. Oh my God, it's huge. It's a huge one. Put the Minn Kota in 4-wheel drive. We're going in. Hey-ya! Oh, I broke my rod. That's all right. I'll trade a rod tip for a fish like that any day. Oh, boy. Yeah, I do kind of like that fish right there. Oh.
That 5-pounder gives him a 2-day total of 25 pounds and tightens his grip on first place. It's shaping up to be the best fishing day of Ray Scheide's life. Chris McCall gets his limit on his way to 23-1 for 2 days. A good showing, but today, not enough. They don't know it yet, but the rest of the field is now fishing for second place.
Come on, I missed that son of a gun. Shoot.
Larry Nixon finds some calm water, but it's almost too calm. Rick Lilligard spots some sightfish, but can't catch a big one. And David Dudley gets a limit, but it's not nearly enough to catch Scheide.
Oh my gosh! It is so big, it's unbelievable. It's a big fish. Oh, yes! I told you that was a big old fish underneath that mat. Holy cow.
You never know. I thought I didn't do as well yesterday and the weights were down, so I did the best I could do. If I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. But hopefully I'll win, but I don't think so.
And today, what I caught today don't mean nothing. I mean, even though I got a limit, you know, it's nice to have 5 fish. I knew it was going to be tough because it was a big frost this morning, and I just went out there and went fishing today, and you know, just had a good time.
Actually, I can leave here. My 25-hour drive will only seem like 20 hours, so that's good. If I would have done horrible in this tournament, my 25-hour drive would have been like 50 hours.
I can't ask for a better day. If this don't win it, it wasn't meant for me to win. It'll still be a most memorable day I've had on the water ever. It's pretty awesome, pretty good feeling.
Up next on FLW Outdoors, a Minn Kota Minute with pro JT Kenny, a man who does not lack for energy.
Hi, I'm JT Kenny, an Energizer Pro from Frostburg, Maryland, and this is my 3rd year on the FLW Tour. Well, when I first started fishing, it was in a little creek behind my house where Mom and Dad lived when we were growing up. And then it just kind of went from there. I had a bass boat at the same time I got the first car. It wasn't much of a bass boat like these new Rangers we're in now, but it was still something to get me out on the water. And then a small tournament was on the local lake that I live near, and some guys come up to me and said they heard I caught a lot of fish all the time. I ought to enter the tournament, and I entered it and won the very first tournament I was ever in, and it kind of rolled from there. You know, sometimes it's amazing to me to look back, you know, as quickly as I've got here. I'm only 29 years old and already fishing the biggest tour in the sport, and have won a couple of tournaments. And it's unbelievable to think back, you know, just 10 years ago, I was just, you know, in a little 16-foot boat just fishing around local lakes, just dreaming about this kind of stuff. And to be here and have, you know, made it this far in the sport already is just unbelievable.
And welcome back to FLW Outdoors, Clewiston, Florida, where Ray Scheide just walked off the stage with a check for $100,000. He's a pro from Russellville, Arkansas. Also from Arkansas, Rob Kilby, who loves to fish topwater and do some things differently once in a while. Here's Rob Kilby on topwater fishing.
I've got Ranger Pro Rob Kilby here, and we're going to talk about one of the most fun ways to catch fish. That's on top of the water, and we've got buzz baits, downsized buzz baits at that.
Well, that's exactly right. There's nothing more exciting than a big crash on a topwater or a buzz bait. And you know, the strikes that you get on a buzz bait are just phenomenal because there's just an explosion, and it's a lot of fun. Well, there's nothing more fun than catching them on a buzz bait. I mean, it's just awesome. Whoosh. You don't get as many short strikes on a small bait like this, so you know we should catch a lot of fish. There's a way you can modify this to actually make it even more streamlined and a little bit smaller. And what I like to do is take the skirt off and turn it over and hook it from the backside. And by doing this, it streamlines the overall profile of the bait and actually makes it even smaller yet. The one thing that you really need to do with a buzz bait, and that's always 100% of the time, is use a trailer hook. And you know, use a good quality trailer hook. And with a buzz bait, even when this small, you want to use big line, 17 to 20 pound test line, because it helps keep the bait up on top of the water and it's just barely moving. Normally, the slower you can move it, the bigger the fish you'll catch. So you want to use soft rod, something that's got a lot of bend to it, and big line. So man, that's a pretty good deal. You're ready to go buzz baiting.
And one of the tricks with buzz baits is when to set the hook, because oftentimes you want to set it as soon as you see it, and that's not the time to pull back.
No, you want to wait till you feel pressure. Just keep whining. You know, you have to turn everything off. Just quit watching if you have to. Close your eyes. Do whatever you have to do, and don't jerk till you feel something. And regardless of what you see, because a lot of the strikes, like I said, they'll come up and they'll be real vicious, and they'll miss it the first time. And they'll come back and they'll get it the second or maybe the third time. And if you jerk at them, the game's over. They won't come back to it. So it's pretty fun. It's kind of nerve-wracking there.
So now let's test those nerves as we try our downsized buzz baits working a shaded bank on a sunny morning. One of the first tips for this topwater excursion is the speed of the retrieve. Remember, Rob's philosophy is the slower the retrieve, the bigger the catch. Rob, what is it a buzz bait's imitating?
To them, it looks like a wounded shad or some sort of bait fish, or maybe even a school of bait fish. You see those bubbles coming up behind the trail? For whatever reason, it seems to be extremely important that a buzz bait leaves bubbles behind it. Some buzz baits leave bubbles and some don't, and frankly, if they don't leave bubbles, you're just kind of out of the game as far as I'm concerned. And so I think it has to do with maybe bait fish, shad, certain times of year, they'll ball up and you'll see them and there'll be a whole bunch of them in a real small area. There may be 100, and they get to flipping back and forth, and they make this, I guess, similar noise to what this creates. And it's just an opportunity for an easy meal. Whoa, there he is. If there's anything more fun than catching them on a buzz bait, I don't know what it is. It's the most exciting fishing you can do.
Up next on FLW Outdoors, a look back at some record-setting days on Lake Okeechobee, some records that you were part of, Larry Nixon.
It was a fabulous day. I had a great time, and that was a good catch.
Watch what Larry did on day one, coming up next on FLW Outdoors.
How did Castrol Pro David Dudley win the largest tournament payout in the history of professional fishing? With a little help from his Poland chainsaw. When the going got tough, Dudley reached for his Poland chainsaw to cut his way into the record books. Poland offers the dependability you need, the quality you deserve. Arm yourself with the best. Poland.
Poland wild thing. Wow.
That's Poland, David. America's chainsaw.
FLW Outdoors continues with Larry Nixon. We're about to take a look back at the 4 days of this event. Was Lake Okeechobee what you expected, Larry?
Well, really, the lake fished good this time. You know, we had guys in the top 10 that caught fish every way you can name of. We had pre-spawn fish caught, mat fish, spawning fish. They were just caught every way.
And you had a huge day on the first day.
Yeah, that was unusual. I caught me a real big string, and I caught them. I figured the fish I was catching were probably fish that were wanting to spawn, or they even could have been spawning. They were set up on eelgrass, and I was just making long casts.
Let's watch it right now. Lake Okeechobee, 2004.
Hey, my brother.
Late January, just before dawn, Lake Okeechobee, a site that can only mean one thing, a brand new season on the FLW Tour.
It's like Christmas to me. I'm so excited.
Oh, I tell you, my heart's beating 90-0 right now.
It's very exciting. This is just awesome.
And as 200 boats slip through the lock, game plans come together.
I'm going to throw a spinnerbait for a couple hours and then go flipping, and you know, that's the way the tournaments are mostly won here, and hopefully that'll be the case this time.
And that's just what Wendlandt does. He has a limit by 10 a.m. and by 10:15 pulls his sixth keeper across a mat in Coot Bay on the way to almost 14 pounds. Energizer Pro JT Kenny is flipping the east wall and misses on some nice fish before boating two keepers, part of his 11-10 limit. In a word, day one's fishing is awesome. 175 pros have limits, and all 200 catch at least one fish.
Now, we heard rumor that early today you had a 10-pounder.
I don't know if it's 10. I'm from Michigan. 5-pounder's big there.
Call it 9-8, Chad, and almost the Snickers big bass of the day. That honor goes to California's Steve Tosh with 9-11 in his first FLW event. But the catch of the day belongs to veteran Evinrude pro Larry Nixon, who used to say he never fished well on Okeechobee.
Oh, man, don't break your back.
Our broadcast partner has 28 pounds, 6 ounces, the third biggest stringer in FLW history. Larry went to the south end of the lake and used a Berkeley power worm to take the lead heading into day two.
Day two.
It's the morning of day two now, and just like so many times before, the rest of the field is chasing this guy, Larry Nixon. Larry, you're in good position.
Yeah, I am. I never expected to catch that big a string of fish, but, you know, it's a good thing to happen because today maybe I don't have to catch but 10 pounds to make the cut.
Nixon takes off for South Bay Bottom. The veteran uses day two to set up his final round and finds his 10 pounds, earning the second best weight of the qualifying round. Still south of the launch near Ritta Island, Florida's Sandy Melvin is putting on a clinic, slow rolling his number 6 Hillebrand blade. Spinnerbait presentation darts around underwater vegetation, through spawning flats, and produces a limit in 20 minutes. Though he never finds the big bites, the NASCAR pro finishes in the money in 56th place. As the anglers return for the weigh-in, Juan has a bigger smile than anyone because he has a bigger fish than anyone. Dean Rojas' 10-pounder was big bass of the tournament, good enough for a big boost into the top 10.
That's what's so exciting about it, because when you make a huge comeback like that, man, you're pumped, you know, and you're feeling good, and you can't wait till tomorrow.
Triumph met with tragedy for Chris McCall. When the Texas pro returned to the weigh-in on day one with over 27 pounds, he learned his mother had passed away during the day. Knowing she'd want him to continue the biggest tournament of his young career, McCall keeps fishing and turns in the best catch of the day, leading the charge into the finals.
Day three.
The 10 finalists took the water on day three with equal weight and equal expectations. A tight group of talented anglers attempted to position themselves with the lead after day three, each looking for momentum for day four.
Yeah! Yeah, baby!
But one stood a little taller than the rest with 14.5 pounds on day 3. The rookie from Arkansas, Ray Scheide.
Ray's got it. 5 bass, all alive. He's their new tournament leader.
Day 4.
On championship day, Scheide took off with the lead and a load of hopes and aspirations. Competing in his first ever FLW event, the rookie wasted a little time in expanding his lead.
What a fish.
His total weight for the final round was 13 pounds better than second place. In fact, the weigh-in was over before the weigh-in was over.
He's got a total weight of 1913. There's fish number 3. Here comes fish number 4. And to seal the victory and make it a run road, there is fish number 5.
Scheide took home most of the heavy hardware, but not all of it. Dean Rojas won the Energizer Keeps On Going award, given to the angler who comes back from the farthest point on day 2 to make the cut. Rojas moved from 33rd to 7th place. Chris McCall won the Shot Back Clean Sweep award for the best weight of the qualifying round of days 1 and 2, with 46 pounds 6 ounces, over 7 pounds better than anyone else.
Ray Scheide, your winner on Lake Okeechobee.
The top rookie performances of the first event in 2004 are pretty easy to spot. Shinichi Fukai is a former Japanese Angler of the Year. Consistent stringers all week led to a 4th place finish in his debut tournament on this side of the Pacific. But no one could top Ray Scheide's inaugural effort. The first-timer blew away a talented field of finalists, winning the tournament by 13 pounds.
Welcome back to Clewiston, Florida, and the first stop on the FLW Tour with Larry Nixon. We're about to have an Ask a Pro question for Andy Morgan. You know Andy.
I know Andy very well. He's one of the best flippers and pitchers that I've ever seen.
And he sets the hook in a certain way that's quite demonstrative.
Oh, I'm telling you, if you're around him, he'll scare you to death when he sets the hook. He can really whip a rod.
All right, our question comes from Shane Rushing of Clarksville, Tennessee, and it's for Andy Morgan. What's the difference between flipping and pitching? Here's Andy's answer.
Flipping and pitching often get confused. Their applications are very different, actually. Flipping is more of the draw line type deal. You can put it into a spot, into a dense area very easily as you closely approach the area. Pitching, you've got more range, and it's better suited for, say, a rock bluff or riprap, things where you have just a little bit of cover and you've got some wide open terrain where you can actually get going down the bank and use the distance and stay back. Perhaps maybe in a clear water situation, you can stay back a little further and get a longer pitch instead of the flip, which is a short range technique.
You know, Larry, at every FLW Tour stop, things go on behind the scene that our viewers never see.
Plenty of little things.
We try to highlight some of those things in our segment we call Fuji Fine Picks. Here's Carlton Wayne.
Big fish equal big smiles as we start Okeechobee's Fuji Fine Picks. Our own Larry Nixon anchored the 3rd largest stringer in FLW history with this beauty, but no fish was larger than Dean Rojas's 10-pounder on day 2. Rojas also had a smile to match. Castrol Pro David Dudley was all smiles with a keeper of his own, young Mason Dudley. And there's nothing quite like a sunrise at Okeechobee, a scene which inspires beauty and opportunity. That opportunity was seized by rookie Ray Scheide, who earned first-place accolades in his first FLW Tour event.
Now, next week on FLW Outdoors, we preview stop number 2, the Atchafalaya Basin with Hank Parker. All right, Larry, show me your best hook set right now.
Well, I ain't got a rod, but it's, you know, you're one side or the other, don't matter.
We got a contest going now. It's called Eagle Claw's Greatest Hook Sets, and you, the viewer, can go and vote on this at our website, FLWOutdoors.com. Look at the hook sites and vote for your favorite one. Larry Nixon, as always, thanks very much.
Thank you.
That's it from Clewiston, Florida, everybody. See you next week on FLW Outdoors.
You can take part in the Eagle Claw Hook Set of the Day Award. Log on to FLWOutdoors.com between now and this Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Vote for the angler you think had the best hook set. The pro with the most votes wins a $1,000 Walmart shopping card presented by Eagle Claw. Here's hook set number 1. Floridian Billy Bowen finds the big one on the final day.
Stay on there, baby. Stay on there, yeah. Yeah, who's your daddy?
Entry number 2 is a silhouetted Dave Lefebvre, fighting a fish and a broken rod.
Oh, man, I better just swing him in.
And finally, listen to the braided line and Ray Scheide. Both are wound up pretty tight.
Oh my gosh! It is so big, it's unbelievable. Oh, yes! I told you that was a big old fish underneath that mat.
Log on to FLWOutdoors.com and pick your winner.